Hello and welcome to the Next Canon podcast. My name is Danny Ray. As you all know, today I'm very excited. We have a very fun guest today. This is Raya Tuffaha. Say hi, Raya.
Hi.
Raya uses she, her pronouns, is an actor and a writer. Her first book, To All the Yellow Flowers, came out in March of 2020. She's currently a student at Swarthmore College and is heading to London next fall to continue some studies. Woo! That is so
Woo-hoo.
fun. How are you doing today, Raya?
I'm good. I'm getting some rain outside my window, so I'm feeling very at home in Seattle from my dorm, which is always nice.
Yeah, so you are from Seattle, but right now you're on the East Coast, right?
That's correct.
Awesome. Whereabouts are you at?
Yeah. I'm outside of Philadelphia, a little bit outside.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I'm really interested in the fact that you're a student right now during this whole coronavirus pandemic. So you're
Yeah.
a sophomore this year?
Mm-hmm.
So what was it
Yeah.
like last year when everything sort of erupted?
Yeah. So my freshman fall was, you know, your typical experience. It was really great. I met a ton of people, and then the middle of our spring semester, I left for spring break to go back to Seattle, and they told us don't come back. So I just stayed there until I could come back in September. And it was kind of crazy. I wasn't a theater major at that point. I was doing something else, and so I didn't have to do Zoom theater in a
Mm.
different time zone. But I did change my mind over the summer, and so I came back and had to do a lot of Zoom theater, which was super weird.
Yeah.
Um, but it's been kind of crazy. It's starting to shift back to normal where we have some hybrid classes now.
Yeah.
So I'm doing mostly in-person theater things from a distance, which I honestly prefer so much more to
Oh, I'm sure.
anything online. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't done any real Zoom theater. I did like a fundraiser, which was very fun, but like weird that it was like in my bedroom. I'm like
Yeah.
doing a little acting here. I put up like a red backdrop. I was like, this is like fun and the character is cute, but like
But this is not
this
it.
is
But
uncomfortable.
it shows you that maybe all those super long fundraisers could be a little bit faster.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And
Shows you what you
like
need.
more interactive in a certain way because like I feel
Yeah.
like a lot of so this company did I talked about this I think last week or the week before, but we did a fundraiser for a children's theater thing and it was
Yeah.
also an escape room, like an online
Oh,
escape room. So we were
oh, I
like
love those.
characters involved. I used to work in an escape room, they're my favorite. Um
Love
but
escape rooms too, bro.
dude, they're so
Amazing.
fun.
They're
Yeah, the
so
one I
fun.
worked at in Seattle. Oh, you live there. You might know it. It's Locurio.
Yeah.
It's in Fremont.
No
Yeah. Yeah,
way.
man.
Oh my God. It's on my list. I have a list of rooms I
You
need to hit.
have to
That's
go.
on there.
You
Oh my
have to go.
gosh.
They're both the rooms are so fun. Sorry to get off topic, but Locurio ad right here as a former employee, the best rooms in Seattle,
Oh my goodness.
hands down.
Is
um
that the one with the did they have the 20,000 Leagues one? Or is
no,
that
they
another
don't.
place?
No, this is the
Oh,
one
which
with
one is it?
Storykeeper and the Vanishing Act. So those are the names of the
Oh,
rooms.
right.
And they
Yes.
also have like a walk around Fremont sort of escape puzzle experience.
Oh,
Super fun,
okay.
outdoor, you can social distance. It's really fun on your phone. But the other two in-room ones, like there's no experience better. They were so fun to do them and also to work them. So like everyone
That's
hit up Low
awesome.
Curio in Fremont when everything gets back open. But
Oh my gosh, totally.
anyways, we were
Anyway.
doing like a fundraiser that was also I got to do acting and also got to do some like escape room stuff and like watched people play the game and it was like this is like harkening back to the before times.
Oh, yeah.
But it
Oh
was
my
super
God.
fun on even though it was on Zoom, it was like more people got to like experience the same room. I feel like that wouldn't have happened
Yeah.
before.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So there's so many
Yeah.
things I feel like that we're different but can change. This whole thing has shown us a lot of changes that are good and also things that are less comfortable and like all of that stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So how much acting experience have you had throughout your life?
So I got into theater through ballet. I did ballet with a company when I lived in Jordan, which was when I was a kid. I was just thinking this morning. I like woke up and I had some of the like from the the ballet stuck in my head, which is super random. But and I moved back to Seattle, the Jordanian ballet standard and the American ballet standard, especially at like PNB where I auditioned, were very different. So the Jordanian and American ballet standards are different. So I didn't get into PNB. So it was like, all right, I'll do tap, and I just like fell into the theater world, and I've just been stuck there. But I loved it. So
Right,
I
you're
did
just
the
like at
theater
the itch.
from yeah.
Yeah.
No, I did it from like 5th grade up until now. Like I haven't stopped.
That is
So
wonderful.
fun.
So in your world, what does the term canon mean?
Mm. Well, the word canon, especially because I'm in like academia right now, it's very professional, and we talk about the canon as shows that or plays that you need to read because they teach you something important, or they're foundational, or they impacted theater's progression in some way. But to me, it also is a little bit more like what is our popular culture consuming
Yeah.
on a larger scale, and how's that influencing our understanding of theater when we're attending a liberal arts college or in a class, or we're just enjoying theater because we like it.
Right. Definitely. I think that's a really good explanation of it, because it really has, I think, evolved, but it's always been evolving as well. Like
Definitely.
things can bust their way into the canon is sort of what I mean. Like they can become canon. Like I feel like Hamilton just was like, I'm here.
Yeah.
Like
Hello.
I am in your canon and I will stay for like ever. So like I feel like there are some
That's not
things
going
that
anywhere.
not at all. Not no one wants it to either. Like that's the thing. But some shows I feel like are rough, and especially when you're thinking of it like they taught me something or they are foundational. Like what shows scream like canon to you? Like what do you think of when you think of that?
I think The Sound of Music is a good part of the canon. I love that show.
Yeah.
Um, oh, it's just so gorgeous. But I think that also, I think musical theater specifically is easier to break into the canon just because you can listen to the music and you can interact with the media in a way that you just can't do as much with just like a straight play. But in terms of straight plays, I think a lot of Arthur Miller works also really. I did A View from the Bridge last year, and I was like, oh my god, like I get it. I keep hearing about it, and then I did it, and I was like, oh, this makes sense.
Right, definitely. So within that, is there a show or an author or anything like that that's just like gotta go? And by that, of course, we mean like is harmful or like has perpetuates things we no longer want to perpetuate or anything like that?
Oh yeah, The King and I needs to go.
That is
King
hands
and I needs
down.
to leave. We need to stop doing The King and I. I feel the same way about Grease, but I feel stronger about The King and I.
Yeah.
Or more strongly, I guess. Yeah, no, it's I did summer like intensive, like the long intensive they do for theater people, for a couple of years when I was in high school, and one of our teachers was in the revival of The King and I on Broadway.
Right.
And so she was in the ensemble. She's this half Korean woman. She's very lovely, and she would tell us how the director would say, "Oh, I need." She would tell the white director would tell the ensemble of Asian women, "I need you guys to act more Asian." And they were all like, "What are you talking about?" And they eventually understood that this man meant, "I need you to act more docile," or whatever the scene was doing.
Yeah.
And you can, on some level, think, okay, well, the director is just an idiot, or he's just racist, and
Yeah.
we can just chalk it up to that. But then also, you see that people are doing it at high schools. And at my middle school, they have like posters of all the plays that they've done, or the musicals. And there's a poster from years and years and years ago of my very white middle school doing that show in yellowface, and is just up there, and no one's questioning it. And so it sparks the question: are we all just willing to be racist for the show? And that's partially yes, because it's musical theater, but also, what is it about the show itself that makes everybody, whether a small middle school in Redmond, Washington, or on Broadway, I feel comfortable doing these types of things or taking control of the situation
Yeah.
in ways that aren't. It says something about the actual material itself that, you know, the like white people feel comfortable writing minority stories and also centering
Directing
themselves in
them
those stories and then directing them and then putting white people up as the faces of the minorities that they're
because they're
directing and
just
writing
so
for.
talented. I
They're just so
mean,
talented. There's no other show. Like, I know we love Rogers and Hammerstein. There's other ones you could do.
yeah,
It's
there
okay.
really are. It's
Other
okay.
ones. I promise. There's other ones, I promise. Figure it out.
I promise there's
Yeah.
hundreds and hundreds of other shows to do.
Yeah. Oh my god. So that, in my opinion, The King and I should be not banned because it's never done again.
Exactly. Yeah, no, we're not trying to ban shows over here. This is not what we're doing.
No.
We're trying to take away
No.
the ones that are doing, as you say, like, I'm sorry, that director said, I hate when people do that. And I hear about it all the time.
Yeah.
Obviously, I am white, so I don't experience it firsthand, but I like talk to so many people that I always hear things like that where people are like, oh, they said act more Asian or act more
Yeah.
black. And I'm like, who
You
are
need
you
to
to
be.
say that? Who are you? Who do
Yeah.
you think
Like,
you
what do you
are?
think that means? That happened in the camp as well. There was we had didn't have a lot of black students because it's the suburbs of Seattle. Um, but we had one black student who, you know, the music director was like, you need to sing this song and you need to sound more black. And I can say that because I have a black wife and children and whatever. And he like had this whole disclaimer prepared.
Disclaimer.
What the hell are you doing, man?
Is your wife
But
here
yeah,
to tell that other person that?
yeah. And it was in a room of white kids and this one black girl and
How?
me. I was like,
Ugh.
what the hell?
Yeah. You probably
Oh
looked
my
at her
god.
like, are these people serious right now?
I mean, she was focused on her music, but
Ugh.
I was confused about
Yeah.
what was happening.
Yeah, I mean, God, that always makes me want to like just vomit, you know? Um, yeah, that's the entitlement is the question. And the question is really why? Like, why?
Yeah, what's the point of it?
Why are we doing The King and I? Why are we talking to people
Yeah.
like that?
I
Why?
think a lot of times people are hesitant to. I think especially now, people understand that we shouldn't be writing for people of color. Okay, so we shouldn't be speaking to them. So we need to feature them in roles, and we need to hire people of color. We're trying to be more inclusive. But the only shows that they're aware of are shows that are written by white people, and so it's like a weird disconnect. Where like, I know you have good intentions, but you're doing harm by actually doing the show.
Yeah. And your storytelling is different than it would be if it was a story not by white people. And
Yeah.
you're not talking about your experience. And there's always the argument of like, can you write about experiences that you haven't had?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and the answer is it depends. I feel like sometimes, like because there's so many
Yeah.
characters in certain shows, but if you're a white person trying to write about the black experience, like or like the Asian American experience or the Asian experience, you're
Mm-hmm.
not going to write it no
Yeah.
matter really how much research you do.
Yeah.
It's just not
You
going
got
to
to be okay
happen.
with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been in a lot of playwriting classes, and this question comes up whenever people are trying to write, like if a guy tries to write an all-female play, we
Right.
questioned it, it wasn't a bad, obviously. It was just like we were like questioning and trying to figure out what the root of that was, and
Yeah.
like why, and also okay, it's just like sort of sifting
Yeah.
through like intentions, obviously, but also yeah, this we all trusted this person. We were just like, why are you doing that?
Yeah. It's definitely because I agree. I feel like you should be able to write diverse characters and have people on stage from that are not just your experience. That's how we ended up in this situation in the first place. Um, but doing it is, you know, it comes with I think it comes with the necessity for an open mind and a willingness to take a step back or self critique or rewrite as many times as you need to, or
Yeah,
just let some things go. It's a difficult writing process.
Yeah. And listening to the people who you ask for critique, and asking for critique from people who would understand what you're trying to do, and having honest people around you to like call you out if you're doing something weird, or like say, no, I love this is great, like things like that.
Yeah.
That's super important for sure. And so on that sort of vibe of like creating new things, like do you have shows that need to come into the canon to join things like Hamilton and like all of that in the canon?
Do. It's not a musical.
Love it.
So that does make it a little bit just harder to engage with. But it's a beautiful play, and it's called Sweat. And
Oh yeah.
it's by Lynn Nottage. And I saw it with my dad in LA, and it was just amazing. It's the story, for people who are not familiar with it, it's kind of working backwards, and you're trying to figure out what happened, of this group of friends who live in one of the poorest towns in the country in Reading, Pennsylvania. And it's kind of right around the 2008 stock market crash, and it jumps time a little bit. But you're trying to figure out what happened the whole time you're watching the economic situation play out for this group of friends who are getting promoted or getting left behind. And it's so beautiful, and it's so thoughtful. And there are moments in there where, like, you know, people are racist and people hate on each other, and they are, you know, friendly and loving and mean and hurtful, and it's all done in a way that like respects the humanity of everybody in the play, and it's so gorgeous. And the ending, it's not like a big flashy thing, but the ending just like really sits with you, and you leave the theater thinking about it for a while. So I would highly recommend it. um, I
Yeah.
used a monologue from it for my audition for London, so I can tell you that it's great. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's it. That brings up such good like exploration into the human experience is such a big thing in theater, I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and that show does a great job of sort of keeping the audience in on the exploration part of it as well.
Yes, definitely.
Sometimes shows can just talk at you. And
Yeah,
that
totally.
is a way to do things for sure, and it's a great way for escapism and like, but I think some theater that makes you really like sits with you and makes you think and all of that stuff is just glorious as a experience.
No, it's absolutely wonderful. I can't remember. It won some. I can't remember if Lynn Nottage herself won a Pulitzer, or Sweat won a. Something happened with either her or that play where it won a writing award, and it totally is deserved. Like, it's just stunning. It's really just stunning.
Yeah. Do you like to live more in the world of already created works, or do you like to do devised works, stuff like that?
Mm. So at my college, our theater major has different tracks, and I'm on the solo performance track, which is all just devised stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and that's kind of popular now,
Yeah.
at least in the college scene. Um, it's really fun. It's hard. I've never done it before, uh, and I'm enjoying it. But sometimes it's nice to like do like a
Yeah.
classic play. So
Something
I'm
that you can
getting
just
more
dig
in the
in.
devised world, but it's sometimes it's super fun to sit back and be like, yes,
Yeah.
I know what this is about. Let's go for it. Yeah.
My college also had different tracks. Ours was like musical theater, acting, and then original
Yeah.
works. So we did like
Oh,
playwriting, directing. That's what I was in, and you did that once you got to like junior year. So I was in that track. I started the solo performance class my senior year, and I was not vibing with it. I
oh
took really
no.
fun classes like burlesque and like
Oh,
playwriting, super fun.
yeah.
The scene in Seattle is huge for burlesque. And so it
Really?
was just, oh, really? Like we've already had like
Oh,
two or three burlesque performers on the podcast. So
wow.
yeah, they're awesome. And maybe that's just because I've been exposed to the burlesque world, but the class was really fun.
Right.
And solo performance was the only class I've ever in my entire life dropped.
Oh no.
It was
Oh
okay. It was
no.
okay. I
Okay.
loved the teacher. She was also our clown teacher. I was also taking clown, not at
Oh
the
yeah.
same time, but I took clown before. teacher was super fun. Her name's Kira. We love her, but I knew I wasn't giving what she was expecting or what I wanted to give. And it was my final semester of senior year, and everything else in my whole class schedule, I loved. And this was the class that was just sort of eating me alive on the inside. And so I was like, it's not worth it. Because I know I went to the showcase, it was wonderful. I love solo performance. I love watching it. Directing it's really fun, but like putting it into my body was hard.
It's hard. I didn't know it'd be this hard. My professor, like every week he'd be like, no, but what are you talking about? I'm like, man, I don't know. But then I just figured it out like this week, and we've been doing it for a month and a half. Like,
yes. It's a really hard, it's just super challenging because you can make it a less personal, but so much of the great work is like super personal.
Right. Did you guys like listen to or read any examples?
I think we watched some, and then we did like stand-up comedy as like a lesson plan. Like basically we explored a bunch of different types and had our teachers sort of talked us through it and like asked us to like come at it fairly blind so that we could create something totally new, you know? We didn't really like sit down. I mean, we watched like Mr. Bean and a couple of comedy things. I can't remember if that was for solo or for a different class, like clown or something, but same teacher. So it's like we drew upon stuff like that for sure. Are you guys watching like a lot of different stuff?
We also have units, but they're a little bit different. So this week we just finished the autobiographical unit, and so we listened to people like Lisa Crone and Spalding Gray, and some others as well. And now we're getting into performance art, which is wild.
Performance art. I took that class twice. We had a class and I took it twice.
It's wild. We just got introduced to it, and like there's a lot of naked people and a lot of blood. Is my takeaway at the moment.
Honestly, that's not wrong.
Crazy. It's that's kind of it. There's a lot of like cutting things away. Our assignment this week is to like recreate one without bodily harm, but to recreate something. But
you can find some that there's other ones too.
No, there's this one that he told us about that it blew my mind. Is this Iraqi guy? Tell me if you know about this one. But this guy named, I think, like Wafat Benad, and he locked himself in a room for 30 days, and he had a paintball gun and a computer. And so he programmed the paintball gun to like be controlled by the computer. And then he had a live stream going. And so you could get on the live stream and say hi to him through the screen and chat with him and type stuff. And then you could shoot him with the paintball gun and you could point at him. And he was like, this is how you shoot Iraqis. It's through a screen and it's from a distance. And he was talking about like his response to the Gulf War. And I was like, oh my God. And then people's reaction to it was crazier because there were some hackers who like hacked into the thing and tried to like have it shoot at him constantly. And other people like logged on and purposefully aimed it to the left of him so it wouldn't hit him. And it was a whole thing. And it went on for 30 days. I was like, oh my God, I get it. Like a little light bulb went off. It was crazy.
Oh my God, literally, that's nuts. But see, like performance art is so cool because it's like it takes you like right there. You know what I mean? Like it pulls you into the moment. Pretty much any performance art, regardless of what the intention is, like pulls you into the moment. And like it can be little stuff, but that is nuts. Like that is such a good piece. Like that's crazy in a good way. Like that, like it makes you think. And then those hackers, oh my God.
And he said on Memorial Day he got shot more. Like all kinds of stuff. And I think he like has to take like sleep medication, can't sleep now. Like all this crazy stuff you would do to yourself to like make this political point, this artistic point. Oh my God. I was sitting with my jaw on the floor.
Me currently.
Right. Yeah, no, seriously.
Yeah. And like there are other like That's so good. There was a whole book that we read in that class about like 101 it was like 101 performance art pieces like throughout this
Mm-hmm.
book. I probably have it somewhere. But one of the like activities that you had to do, like it was all about these
Oh,
activities because that's a
okay.
big part of performance art that my teacher taught.
Yeah.
An activity has a beginning, a middle, and an end. It does XYZ. Like there's a list of things that an activity does.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and one of them that always sticks with me in the fall, especially, is grab a leaf as it falls out of the air. Grab it, keep
Mm-hmm.
the leaf until the same time next year. Go to the same spot and let it fall.
Oh wow.
Like why? But also like that it took a year to fall to the ground. You know,
Yeah.
like that's the concept in a way, or like that's what hits me. And like that one just sticks with me because I can't catch the leaf. Like it is so hard to catch a leaf that's falling because you don't
Yeah.
know which
Yeah.
way it's going unless it just falls into your hand. Like one of my friends had this giant leaf the same year, this giant, like
Yeah.
face sized or bigger, like leaf fall, and they caught it. And I
That's
was
insane.
like, are you going to keep it? And he's one of those people that like is tries to be super poetic.
Right.
Or maybe he doesn't try, it
Poets.
just sort of happens.
Yeah.
But he's very like in that he would forget. I don't know if he did, and if he's listening, like let me know. But I really want him to have gone back the next year and like let it drop. But
Oh man.
yeah, one of my favorite little things to do performance art wise, just to make random people smile, is that I rode to school on a scooter. I in Seattle, all the hills. So I
Yeah.
went
Yeah. Yeah.
down. It was dangerous, but
Yeah.
also
Oh my God.
fun. I scooted to school because I only lived like half a mile or a mile away. Um,
Okay.
it was a mile, 15-minute walk, yeah. But I scootered, so it was only like 5 minutes.
Yeah. Okay.
And every time I would cross a road where the cars were like at a stoplight, I
Mm-hmm.
would like arabesque, if that's the word for it. I would like shoot
Oh
my leg
yeah.
back and just like glide as if I was a statue.
Oh, I love that. Oh
I
my
know,
gosh.
so that they kind of go, huh.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh my. If I saw that, I'd be so happy. Oh my God. That's
I
great.
know. I was like, this makes me happy, and I hope that they're giggling at me because, like, why not? You know,
Why not? Yeah. If you're in
I
theater school, you might as well just take advantage of it.
and I'm on like an urban campus where there's no lines for like what's on and off campus, so I'm just gonna like
Yeah.
scooter around here.
All the world's
Super
your
fun.
stage.
Exactly. All the world is
Yeah.
my stage. So yeah, so bringing it back, Sweat is a great show. Everyone go read and see
Yes.
it. That's sort of where we're at. We got on a tangent. Sorry, my bad. But yeah, so Sweat's wonderful. Please help it be produced more. Do you have any shows that are happening right now that you would like to promote, like things that you know of, art
Um,
pieces that we can
mm,
download and all that stuff?
I am in my friend's directing thesis at the moment. It's very
Fun.
cool. It's surrealist nightmare world about terrorism. It's great. And there will be a radio play in
Nice.
May that you can listen
Nice.
to. The current working title is Why Are You Killing Yourself by Zaina Darna. And yeah, we are going to record that after the show. So let
You're
you
gonna
know
get all the
the
shows through, you're gonna know it super well, and then you're gonna record it.
about it. I die at the end of every scene. It's whack. I love it.
That's
So yeah, so
wild.
that's what I'm working on right now.
That's so fun. Well, when that
Yeah.
comes out, I'll have links. I'll share it on my social media and all that stuff. So you just
Awesome.
keep me updated. Just send me a little text, be like, "Hey, Danny,
Hey.
the show's happening," and I'll be like, "Cool." So yeah, anything else that you'd like to promote, like your socials or anything like that?
Yeah, well, on social media, it's just my name at Raya Tuffaha. I would love if people who are listening took a look at my book.
Oh
Um,
yes, the
you
link will be
could
below.
possibly buy that if you would like to.
Buy the
Uh,
book. Buy the book.
hopefully, hopefully you enjoy it. I really hope you do. It's got some fun illustrations as well. Um, but yeah, you can check me out. I have a website. It's also my name, so you can buy it there.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
we'll have all those links in the description or on my Instagram page. Um, So my last little sneaky question that I don't tell anyone about, but you might
Uh-oh.
know if you listened to an episode, is who would you like to see on this podcast?
Oh, you should ask one of two people. And one of them is the woman from The King and I that I mentioned earlier. Her name is Candace Pullum or Candace Donahue. We love her. I think she teaches at Cornish, maybe?
I think she does voice coaching at Cornish, so I
That's it.
knew of
Yes.
her, and
No,
I
no,
have had thoughts about asking her, so I may reach
no.
out, but
She's
we've never met.
absolutely lovely. 10 out of 10. Sweetest woman you've ever met. And the other one is Lonnie Brockman,
Okay.
who is the creative director at Studio East.
Nice.
So,
Well,
yeah.
awesome. Thank you so much. Do you have anything else to
Thank
say
you.
before we say goodbye for today?
Thanks for having me. This was
Of
super
course.
fun.
I know, right? I love these
Yeah.
conversations so much, and I am so grateful for everyone who wants to come and talk with me and everyone who's listening at home and following along and all of that nonsense. You're amazing. You, Raya, are amazing. Congrats on all of the things like Bada and also the book.
Thank
Those
you.
are both
Yes.
fantastic, wonderful things.
Thank you.
So everyone go follow Raya and also give us a little like, follow, share, do whatever it is where you're at. Give it a rating. Give us some 5 stars over here. I don't know. I don't know anything. Anyways, thank you guys so much for listening to the Next Canon podcast, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.